afternoon. Today we are continuing working on those graphs. And what we're working on today is CO50. I can find the slope of a line that has been graphed. Anybody have an idea of what a slope is? Lucas?
It's the thing that goes like an arch.
No. Good guess. Lauren?
Like a narrow hill.
A narrow what?
Hill.
Like a narrow hill. Not quite, no. Olivia?
It's like a hill, but like it's always diagonal.
No. Peyton?
It's a computer game.
What?
No. Not what we're talking about in math class. The slope of a line. So those of us talking about those hills, that's not the slope of a line. So we want the slope of the line that has been graphed. So the slope is how the line moves across the coordinate plane. So if our line is going up like this, and I want to know what point up here is going to be on that line, because we know a line continues on and on and on. It's telling me what that incline or decline is at. So I could tell you a point that's 300 and something. I would know if it's going to be on the plane or not. So our slope tells us what points that line is going to cover, no matter what, going up or going down. Can you put that away, please? So there's one way to find the slope, but we can use different words. So I'm going to explain it in 3 different terminologies. They all mean the same thing. So the first one is vertical change over the horizontal change. What direction are we going if we're going vertically? Exactly, Damien. We're going up or down. So the vertical change, going up or going down, and the horizontal change, how we're going across. Another way to say it is change in Y over the change in, what do you think? X. Because the Y-axis goes up and down, and that X-axis goes across. The last way we're going to write it is rise over run. The rise is if it's going up or down, and the run is you're running across the land, right? Rise goes up or down, the run is going across. They all mean the same thing. How it changes horizontally, that change in X as it goes across the X-axis, or we call it the run. Same thing, different terms. So I always think of it of rise over run because that's the shortest. That's the simplest. So I go rise over run. Rise is up and down, run is going across. So on my help sheet, I would put rise, up and down, run going across. So we are going, there's a couple of key pieces we need to keep in mind as we're figuring out our slopes. First one, if we go up on that y-axis, what kind of numbers are those?
Positive.
Say it louder.
Positive.
Positive. So if we go up, it's a positive. If we're going down on the y-axis, it's going to be a negative. So sometimes our slopes are positive because our lines go up. Sometimes our slopes are, so that would be a positive, a negative slope goes down. Should have said the first thing. First thing when we're finding a slope is we always read from left to right. So we always start at the left side. Whatever point we hit first on that left side. That's how we know if we're going up or down, because we always go left to right. So you start at the left side of your line, and you look, is my line going up, or is my line going down from that left side of the line? We read left to right. When we do slope, we always do it left to right. Always, always, always. Otherwise, you're going to mess up those positives and negatives. So always go left to right. So we're going to practice how this works. And once you see it in action, it'll make sense. Another thing to keep in mind, our slope is going to look like a fraction. What do we always do with fractions before we finish? Reduce. Simplify, simplify, simplify. If you get an 8/4 and you write that as your answer, it's going to be wrong because you didn't simplify. You always have to simplify down as far as you can go. 8/4 you would simplify down to 2/1. You do have to put the 1 on the bottom because we need to know what that run is. So you always have to keep it as a fraction with a rise over a run. So you can't just write 2. It would have to be 2/1. We always have to have the run on there. Okay, so let's see how this works. I am going to erase this so I can move it up. Plot the two given ordered pairs. We know how to plot. X, then Y. Draw a line as straight as you can. But remember, our lines are not precise. So we have to be able to find that slope. We're not playing with it. Then we're going to find the slope. So we're going to show the change in Y over the change in X. We're going to put it as the rise over the run. So let's look at our first one. -4, +2, -3 with a +5. Drawing my line, putting my arrows. I read from left to right. So I'm going to come to the point that I hit first. I hit this point first, right? Because I'm going from left to right. I hit the left point first. So that's my starting point. Whatever point's on the farthest left, I start with. Now I know it's rise over run. If I go up, it's a positive. If I go down, it's a negative. I have to go up to get to my next point. How many up am I going? I go up 1, 2, 3. So my rise is a +3. I went up, so it's positive, and I went up 3. Do you have a question, Lucas? Are you on CO50? Nope, CO50. That's why it looks different. Good catch. So make sure you're on CO50. So I know my rise is positive because I go up. I went up 3. Now I need to find my run. My run always goes to the right. On the x-axis, if I go to the right, it's always a positive. So that run will always be a positive number. The only thing that might be negative is that rise. I go over 1 place. So it's 3/1. That is my slope. Can I simplify that at all? No. So Once we get in the groove of finding our slope, we will be adding on to the slope in the future, doing more complicated things. But we're starting off with the basic find the slope. So let's look at my next one. I'm going to graph 1, 6. So I'm at 1, I go up to 6, and then 5, and I go up to 3. I graph, I draw my line. Now I need to find my slope. So I'm moving across from left to right. I hit this point first. What is my rise going to be? Dominic.
For number 2,
Mm-hmm.
it would be 4 and 3.
What would it be?
4 over 3.
So my rise is not a 4.
Okay.
If I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to be up way up there. What is my rise going to be? Okay. Negative, because I have to go down. 1, 2, 3. I'm going down, so it's a negative. And I went down 3. So it is very important that you graph correctly and you go slow as you're counting. It makes a difference if it's positive or negative. I needed to know I'm going down, so it's negative. I think, Dominic, you put your run on top. Because look at this, our run is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we always have to remember that rise, that up and down, always goes on top. So the up, down is on top. If you're going up, it's positive. If you're going down, it's negative. Our run is going over to the right. Claire? Why do you think I would want us to draw the lines, especially on this first objective? Because there are a lot of people who come at this and they draw their line like this. Why would your slope be different if you go that way? Claire? If I go like this, it's going to be a positive. If I go like this, I'm going to put my run on top and my rise on the bottom, and I get the wrong answer. So I want us to draw the line. So if you get it wrong, we can see where you're going wrong. If you went backwards and you got it as a positive instead of a negative, if you went and put your run, you counted your run first and then your rise, we'll see that by you drawing the line. That's why I want us to draw that line. So we can check and find any mistakes that we're making. Any other questions? Anybody not quite getting how to find that slope? Rise over run. Show me your thumbs. So I have a few people that are kind of, somebody's like, oh, I'm still not quite getting it. If you are understanding it, you can work ahead. If you want me to go over the next one with you, come up to the front table with me. Okay? So you can come work with me up front to make sure we're getting it, because our test is on Monday and we want to make sure we understand slope. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well. Hope to see you soon. Ask me if you have any questions.